I'm 18 years old. My lungs are like a 7-year-old's.
Doctors say vaping almost killed Adam.
If we didn't bring him in when we brought him in, his lungs would have collapsed and he would have died.
Across the U.S., 6 people have died and more than 400 have been hospitalized with severe lung disease linked to vaping. But the exact cause remains a mystery.
What's a pack of smokes cost?
What we do know is that after decades of anti-tobacco campaigns that helped slash the rates of teen smoking, a whole new generation is becoming addicted to nicotine.
This is really something we've never seen before. We really don't know the best way to treat it.
This is how parents and politicians are fighting back. They come in all shapes and sizes, but nearly 70% of the e-cigarette market is controlled by one company, Juul. The device is wildly popular with teens, and it helps that it's tech-friendly and easy to hide. It's also spawned an entire industry for accessories that include flavors like sour apple and pods for THC. But Juul is uniquely designed to deliver a high amount of nicotine to the bloodstream fast, and that high dose really matters.
Kids who come to see me have no idea how much nicotine is in a Juul. I think the company says that pod has about as much nicotine as a pack of cigarettes, and somehow that sort of makes it seem like some normal amount or some typical dose, but it also becomes something social, something that kids are expected to do when they get together. In a place like a Juul lounge, which is also known as a high school bathroom.
Yep, there's even a meme for that.
If you look at the internet, if you go to YouTube, you'll see people doing all kinds of tricks. All of the tricks also increase the amount of nicotine that's absorbed because they all involve pulling harder, holding your breath longer, holding the vapor in longer to allow the dose of nicotine to rise even higher in the brain. And so the tricks themselves actually make the device more addictive.
And that vaping addiction could be poisoning kids.
For a lot of the kids that we're seeing, they are reporting signs of nicotine toxicity. So headaches, stomach aches, vomiting is actually quite common. I always tell parents that if you're seeing a big and sudden change in your child, take it seriously.
I would have never thought I would have the kid that was addicted to Juul.
Cade started juuling when he was 15. 3 years later, he was so addicted, he got kicked off his hockey team and was diagnosed with restrictive lung disease.
I would find the color caps all over the place. I think at one point I found a bin in Cade's car that probably had hundreds of them, which now knowing that one of these is equal to a pack of cigarettes, as a mom, seeing that those hundreds of pods, that your child's done, was pretty devastating. It is as bad as any other addiction, whether it be gambling, alcohol, heroin, pills. It's an addiction, and for these kids, they just will do anything to be able to have their nicotine.
So that's where you get your motivation from, your Juul cigarette.
Yeah, it's how to act. Take it away and then you give it back, and that's happy and sad.
Every company dreams of having their product promoted by celebrities, but Juul has been criticized for a sleek marketing campaign that claims the device is safer than cigarettes, and a social media strategy that seemed aimed at teens.
Well, I said I'm sorry for the situation they're in. Again, there's never been an...
But you don't think Juul caused it?
Well, some people could have used our product, but there's never an intent on the company's part to target youth to grow our business. That's been the assertion.
The company has since changed its ad campaign and now plans to require age verification before purchase. But for some parents and politicians, it's all too little, too late. Kristen is now an advocate for Parents Against Vaping and E-Cigarettes, or PAVE. And President Trump has vowed to ban all flavored e-cigarettes.
Vaping has become a very big business, but we can't allow people to get sick, and we can't have our youth be so affected.
But many believe change has to start at the state level.
We know that in some instances, half or up to 80% of students in high school have vaped. So we raised the age that you can purchase e-cigarettes to 21, just the same as combustible. We now have legislation that we support that bans flavors, because we know that flavors are a way that these companies have really marketed to young people. I think we need to be coming at this from all angles. State attorneys general will continue to investigate and sue these e-cigarette companies. The FDA needs to get involved here and better regulate the sale and marketing of these products.
Look, teens are always going to experiment and try the latest technology, but experts say when it leads to addiction and harm, there should always be a balance.
What we know about the teen brain is that it's particularly vulnerable to developing addiction, and so that's really a big problem. It's not just a bad habit that people can't break, it's that the nicotine actually changes the part of the brain that helps us control these behaviors, and it becomes almost something like an obsession to use the product.
There's no getting around the fact that if an adult smoker wants to quit smoking, that they don't need a Sour Patch flavored Juul pod to do so. This is a battle that often isn't successful in quitting, especially for kids.
That's it for this week's episode. Leave your comments below.